Australian farmers have been defending their right to export live animals virtually since the trade began. You may remember when former Prime Minister Malcolm Fraser and then NFF boss Ian McLaughlin stared down union threats over sheep shipments to the Middle East in the 1980s. The argument back then was based more on the impact on jobs in the meat processing sector. More recently, the opposition has come from animal rights groups who argue the trade is unnecessarily cruel. And every so often they supply the mainstream media with unsettling images of the way some overseas customers handle Australian export sheep and cattle. They're about to step up their campaign with fresh material gathered in Indonesia, one of Australia's biggest live export markets. This weekend, the industry has released its new global strategy following an independent review that's aimed at convincing end users to lift their game. Kerry Lonergan reports.
It's $1 billion a year business. The live trade out of the north is critical to the economy across the top of Australia and beyond. Much of the country from Kununurra to the Barkly Tableland is suitable only for cattle grazing. So with virtually no processing facilities from Townsville right around to Perth, there are no options. It's export or close down.
So many people in remote and regional communities in northern Australia rely on the live trade as some or many as their only source of income and their only market, but others for a very significant part of their income. So the impact would be massive. We know that the live trade adds 7.8, nearly 8 cents a kilo to all cattle sold across Australia, whether they're going into the live trade or not.
So what's the problem? The weights issue with Indonesia is something the industry has always felt would be resolved eventually. The problem is lifting certain animal welfare standards in Indonesia. Last year, the industry, with support from Canberra, commissioned an independent report to check on welfare standards for Australian cattle sent to Indonesia and recommend improvements. The panel, which included vets, feedlot and abattoir experts from Australia and the UK,